They were two of the most iconic faces in the golden age of westerns. Clint Walker, the towering, soft-spoken hero of Cheyenne. Jack Elam, the wild-eyed character actor who stole scenes with every crooked grin. They shared screen time. They shared a genre. They shared a legacy. But when Jack Elam passed away in 2003, many fans expected a sea of old Western stars to show up and pay their respects. Instead, one notable name was absent: Clint Walker. Not a word, not a sighting, not even a quote. So what happened? Why didn't Clint Walker attend Jack Elam's funeral? The answer lies in decades of history, personal tragedy, and the quiet, private code both men lived by. In the world of Hollywood westerns, actors like Clint Walker and Jack Elam represented opposite sides of the same dusty coin. Walker was the stoic lead, the John Wayne type. Jack Elam, he was the outlaw, the drunk, the unpredictable sidekick. But they were both legends. Their careers occasionally overlapped. They worked together on the same sets, shared laughs between takes, and respected each other's place in the industry. So when fans learned that Clint Walker didn't attend Elam's funeral, questions quickly followed. But to understand why, you have to understand who these men really were. Not just their on-screen personas, but the private lives they rarely shared. Let's start with the man himself, Clint Walker. Born in 1927 in Hartford, Illinois, Clint Walker stood 6 feet 6 inches tall, a giant by any standard. But it wasn't just his size that made him a star. It was his quiet charisma, his deeply calm voice, and the way he played men with honor, restraint, and real moral gravity. Walker became a household name in 1955 with the Warner Brothers TV series Cheyenne, playing the titular frontier scout. He wasn't a fast-talking gunslinger. He was the kind of cowboy who thought before he drew his weapon. Off-screen, Clint was a different kind of cowboy. He disliked Hollywood parties. He hated gossip. And more than anything, he valued privacy. Friends and co-stars often said the same thing. Clint Walker didn't talk much. But when he did, it meant something. Now enter Jack Elam. Born in 1920 in Arizona. One look at Jack and you remembered him forever. The misaligned eye, the wiry frame, the snarl in his voice. He was made to play outlaws, drunks, and men who didn't follow the rules. But Elam was more than a character actor. He was a brilliant technician with perfect comic timing. He could switch from threatening to hilarious in seconds. And behind the scenes, he was known for being kind, self-deprecating, and sharp as a whip. Elam worked with nearly every major star of the Western era, from John Wayne to James Garner to, yes, Clint Walker. Clint Walker and Jack Elam appeared together in the 1963 Western The Night of the Grizzly, one of Walker's most beloved films. Elam played the weaselly antagonist, while Walker portrayed a retired lawman trying to build a life for his family. Their chemistry on screen was electric because it was real. Walker respected Elam's talent. Elam admired Walker's stoicism. They weren't best friends, but they had that professional camaraderie only actors in a tough genre share. When you've sweated through a location shoot, dodged real horses, and fought fake bar brawls, there's a bond that sticks. Jack Elam passed away in October 2003 at the age of 82 due to congestive heart failure. The news hit hard. Fans mourned. Tributes rolled in. And in Arizona, a small private service was held, just as Elam had requested. It wasn't a flashy Hollywood funeral. It was modest, intimate, just family and a few close friends. One of those absent was Clint Walker. There was no statement, no appearance, no comment to the press. For a man known for his quiet nature, that wasn't surprising, but fans noticed. Why? To understand Clint Walker's absence, you have to understand his core beliefs. Walker was intensely private. He had seen Hollywood at its worst: contract disputes, exploitation, sensationalized media. After the end of Cheyenne, he often pulled away from the spotlight, only emerging for select roles or interviews. He also experienced profound personal pain. In 1971, Clint's daughter Valerie died in a tragic accident. It broke him. From that point forward, he became even more reclusive. Funerals, memorials, anything that reopened that wound, were extremely difficult for him. Walker wasn't cold. He was wounded. He grieved in silence. and he believed strongly that mourning was private, not a media spectacle. There's also reason to believe that Jack Elam wouldn't have wanted a big turnout of celebrities. Friends and biographers have said Elam specifically requested a quiet, low-key funeral. He didn't care for public displays of mourning. He didn't like being the center of attention off-screen, and he likely wouldn't have wanted his old co-stars flying in for a headline. In that sense, Clint Walker's absence wasn't disrespect. It might have been the opposite, a final act of respect. By staying away, he honored the low-profile send-off Jack preferred. There's another element to this story that's uniquely Western. Clint Walker and Jack Elam were old school. They came from a generation of men who didn't explain themselves, who didn't air their feelings, who didn't seek the spotlight unless it was part of the job. In the classic Western, the cowboy doesn't show emotion. He rides into the sunset without a word. That was Clint Walker, and that was Jack Elam. Their legacy was forged in silence, sweat, and honor. Walker's absence from the funeral wasn't a snub. It was a final, quiet goodbye in the way he knew best. In the end, it's easy to judge decisions without knowing the full story. But when it comes to men like Clint Walker and Jack Elam, there's always more beneath the surface. They didn't need headlines. They didn't need applause. They just needed to ride tall and leave behind a legacy worth remembering. So the next time you rewatch The Night of the Grizzly or any classic Western they touched, remember this: true respect isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's the silence that says the most. If you enjoyed this deep dive into two legends of the Western era, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes stories from Hollywood's golden age. And tell us in the comments, what's your favorite Clint Walker or Jack Elam performance? Do you think Walker did the right thing by skipping the funeral? We read every comment, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, ride easy, and keep the spirit of the West alive.